Ooh. What is that? Guns, guns, guns. We're still holding a lot of details on the season of Redacted close to the chest, including the new season 15 arsenal you'll start to discover next week. We do want to show some of the other weapons you'll be earning next season. Oh, these are the other weapons. So these are not the weapons, the weapons. Next season's ritual quest weapons is a rocket launcher with the explosive light perk. As is the custom, you will receive a new quest to earn this weapon, and then can collect Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard themed weapon ornaments through additional quests to customize its look. This shit looks clean as fuck. This is a clean aesthetic, and I like it. I like this. This is a rocket launcher. It looks like a precision frame. I like this though. Woo! We're adding 3 weapons as post-game rewards for completing Vanguard strikes, Gambit, and Crucible matches. These will drop randomly after completing these activities with random rolls. Here's a sneak peek. These look sexy as fuck. Oh my god. These look sexy as fuck. Yo, all I'm saying, yo, listen. I love all the weapons and shit we've had. You know, Season of Chosen, Season of the Splicer. Love the Vex and the Splicer theme. Love all of that stuff. But I like a nice, clean aesthetic. I like this. And I like the rugged, basic look of these. They just look clean. And you know why? Because I know the shaders on this shit is gonna look fire. That's what this is. Yeah. I'm liking these, and I'm liking the formula that they've been doing. So rather than, oh, every season we need a bajillion weapons, they've found a nice formula for adding weapons. And now that we don't have sunsetting, all these weapons are starting to accumulate. So every season we've been getting 3 new weapons, 1 each in Crucible, Gambit, and Strikes. What are we at now? Like 3 or 4 total, including these. Every season we get the ritual quest weapon, right? Like that's 4 weapons just through this edition alone. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when you think about over the course of these last few seasons what it's been doing to these playlists. It's giving you more shit to do and earn in these playlists, more reasons to jump in, you know. Bro, I've been saying since Prophecy dropped, man, why don't they have the Trials of the 9 weapons in that shit? I ain't even read this yet, bro. Do you see the Trials of the 9 weapons? Do you see the Trials of the 9 weapons on my screen right now? Let's read. We also have plans to freshen up the loot in the Prophecy dungeon. Basically, we've seen a lot of feedback to bring forward the original Trials of the 9 weapons, and thought that adding these to the 9 themed dungeon was a great fit. Wow, you thought that? We all thought that. We just been waiting on this shit to happen. But okay. These weapons have been upgraded with random rolls, and certain ones will drop from specific encounters in the Man, listen. I'm gonna make a video because this is a lot. I'm gonna try to do a full recap, summary type hype shit for season 15, because reading this and just thinking about all the stuff we've gotten, I'm officially hyped for season 15. I don't even know what it is. I'm officially hyped just for the fact of all the changes we have, right? All the reworking and the buffing and the restructuring and the changes to trials coming, which we'll find out about next week. All these different changes and stuff, the infusion of loot into the game, the Prophecy dungeon getting loot. I love the Prophecy dungeon, but I just wasn't doing it because I never felt like the loot outside of the armor, it just felt disconnected. Like getting the weapons we were getting, it was like I'm doing a 9 theme thing and it's like no 9 theme weapons. This just got me back in. I'm doing Prophecy dungeon. I'm soloing that shit. Whatever I got to do, I'm doing Prophecy. Because I love these Trials of the 9 weapons. And I wasn't able to play Trials of the 9 too often. I had a few of these, but I was not able to play enough to where I farmed them. These weapons were fire. And to add on top of it, what did they just say earlier in the TWAB? They're changing their approach to bringing back weapons that are reprised. So instead of getting rid of the loopholes, the perk pools, what are they gonna do? Get rid of the 2 or 3 least used perks and just add new ones. So we can expect these to still have their best perks and new ones. That's great. That's great. What? On top of all these weapons, we're also updating the world pool with some fresh drops. Here's some new weapons you can expect to start seeing pop up in the wild. So now these are basically year 1 weapons being brought forward, random rolls. Dope. This is the auto rifle that all of us used, D2 vanilla. The sniper rifle. And this is going to be stuff that drops in the world loot pool. So again, what we just read is like a buff to weapons, which is just, I'll take it. Like, this is what I've been asking for forever, because I always refer to a tweet that I saw, I want to say end of D1, like early D2. I remember DMG tweeted, he said, in terms of like weapons and stuff, they were like, making weapons is hard in terms of, you know, designing them, balancing them in the sandbox, perks, like constantly making new weapons is hard to keep up at a rapid pace, right? So he asked the community, he said, how do you feel about us reissuing older weapons, adding new perks and all that kind of stuff, right? Everyone, I remember it was a poll, everyone, it was like a resoundingly positive, not everyone, because everyone's gonna be like, not everyone, but a resoundingly, it was like overwhelmingly positive. I want to say like 80% or something like that was like totally down with that. People in the comments, if that means we get more weapons, I'm totally cool with getting new perks. I don't care if they come back, blah, 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 blah. That's what we're seeing now. And I'm cool with that. I don't look at this as a reskin. I look at this as, are you using this bitch right now? No. And even if you was, if you bringing it back with new perks, I'm cool with that. Like, and I'm even more so cool with that just because now that we know they're not going to be taking out all the perks and just giving us totally new perks. So it's like, that's more of a reskin. It's like taking a weapon and just adding new perks and going, here, that's a reskin. But keeping the perks that made the weapon what it was and then adding new perks on top of it. So basically making it better. I like the idea of that. And these were D1, these were D2 like vanilla weapons. So these didn't have random rolls anyway. So, I mean, adding perks to these is like, you just made them better. So cool. So more weapons. The Arbalest linear fusion rifle will not work with the anti-champion mods in the season of Redacted. In a future update, anti-barrier will be added as an intrinsic perk for the weapon. Oh, that's dope. So there's the buff for Arbalest. See, if you wouldn't have read that, you'd have never known. So Arbalest is going to get an intrinsic perk for anti-barrier. So that's dope. Season 15 introduces legendary stasis weapons. We've seen some concern about how these are intended to work, particularly in PvP. So here's some details. Stasis power weapons are in the power slot, but all other stasis weapons are in the kinetic slot. This is to avoid overcrowding the energy slot, and so that it's reasonable to use one in match game content. The kinetic slot won't be renamed at this time, so they're thinking about renaming it maybe in the future. Stasis weapons don't intrinsically do anything differently from weapons of other damage types, but they are the only weapons that can roll with stasis perks. Okay, so that's what it sounds like the difference is going to be, the perks. So it's not going to like you shoot someone and they freeze, which is good. So we generally intend stasis perks with slowing or freezing effects to have a kill trigger. This being easy enough to trigger in PvE and fun to use, but not obnoxious to play against in PvP. So I guess you could say that the exotic that we have, the stasis sidearm, I think it's cryosthesia, that's an example. So you got to get a kill to actually trigger the perk where you could do something like freezing somebody. But I mean, I guess we'll see how the perks come out for stasis weapons, like how many there are, what the variety is and stuff like that.